Hi, everyone. Welcome to Tech Down Over. It is Friday, January 6th. The year is almost gone. And we are ready to start all over again. So this is our first show. We're running a little bit late today. We had some really odd NDI, network device interface issues with vMix. It happens. So for all of you, the multitudes, who've been sitting there for the last, 40 minutes? Yeah, 40 minutes almost, waiting, we're here.
Oh, that's worth the wait.
It's worth the wait. Yep. Anyway, shall we start the recording? Hello, everyone. Welcome to Tech Down Over. This is show, I think, 102?
102, yes, that's correct.
And it is January 6, 2017. We made it through the New Year's. And I'm joined today by Geoff Blanchard, my good friend, and he is burning in Melbourne, Australia, where it's about 105 degrees.
Yes, been very, very, very warm the last few days. But then again, being Melbourne, it could be very chilly the next day. So I'll make the most of it while it's nice and warm.
Yeah, that's true. Well, today's the first day where we actually have no rain in the last several weeks. So it's been nice. I think Seattle moved down for a while, took a vacation, now it left. But I think we have rain. I think we have rain tomorrow again. But anyway, shall we do the intro?
Yes.
We are back. Now, Geoff, being one day ahead of us, knows everything that happens here before it happens here. Trust me, it works that way.
If you really wait for that, I'd be winning the lotto all the time.
And he told me something that I didn't know yet. I haven't been on looking at the news yet, but we have an announcement, don't we?
Yes, I think they announced at CES this week that the Panasonic GH5 was going to be released and probably available late March, early April, I think it is.
Okay.
But it's got quite a load of new great features that I didn't realize it had before. But I was just starting on my list of things I've got here. They've got them down at a store here that's asking for pre-release orders, so you can put $400 down to get your pre-release, but they won't tell you what price it is. So I thought, I'm not going to put my money down for something on that.
The original GH4 was $17.99 when it came out, and I don't know what this one. I have a feeling is going to be probably $2,000. This
one is, yes, that's exactly right. They're saying it will be $2,000 for the body only. But what I'm looking at here, then convert that into Australian and then say with they're like a 12 to 60 millimeter f2.8 lens, or the or the 12 to 35 millimeter.
That's a good lens.
That either of those, there's a kit, and that will be for you round about 2,700. But then for me, get this with the conversion, it's $3,699.
Wow.
So, but that's that's life with the conversion rate and that at the moment. But I suppose it's not too bad. But one of the things, you're familiar with the GH4, and with the GH4, I don't know, did you spend the extra to get the Vlog profile?
I didn't, because I'm not that much of a fan of flat video profiles. They have their purpose, but we don't do cinema. And frankly, the profiles you get naturally, you get Cinelike D and some other ones, look really good anyway. So if you really want to spend all your time grading something, sure, get Vlog. But I didn't think it was worth $95 just for something I can barely see. It's all gray.
Well, the good news for this is the one that's available for that, which is about $99 yours, about $149 for us here. Anybody who pre-orders a camera, they'll get that free with it anyway. So the people who are keen for it, but I'm pretty much the same as you. Yeah, I can see the advantages of it, but I can also see the hard work, and I won't do it. So
it's a lot of work, and that's why I returned that Canon C100 Mark II.
C100.
It is too much. There's no other profile other than flat, and as a result, you have to grade everything. I don't have that kind of time, and nobody here does either. And that's just a lot of work to grade every single piece of video you shoot. So really, they're more cinema cameras for people who have huge budgets and have nothing better to do. You got to like that look too. It's not always the best of looks. It's a special kind of look.
And with this one, it does have, of course, with the weighted cam, we did know it would have the 4K, but there's 4K's at the 60 frames or 50 frames for me.
Yeah.
But what good things it does have, which I didn't know about, it has 180 frames per second in full HD.
Oh, that's not in full HD. That's not bad.
Yeah, that's really good for some in-camera slow motion. But the strange thing with this, though, is they've got the release, but then later in about June, they've got some firmware updates coming through, the firmware updates later this year will allow 6K video recording.
They were talking about that, but I thought, is it 6K video recording or just 6K photo video? Where you get...
I'll just talk about that a little bit later because it handles that too. But the people were saying, well, why don't they do the 6K straight away? And one of the reasons they're saying they're doing it as a firmware because to get 6K on there, the card and the writing technology is not there yet until something else is released later in the year. But what you were saying about the 6K photo, I still don't quite understand what this is, but even in the current release, it'll have the 6K photo. But what that does, it enables you to take off your 4K footage an image which will give you an 18 megapixel picture off your video.
Right, that's nice.
That's in the 6K, but I'm not too sure how it's working because there's only a few cameras out there that they've given to about 4 or 5 people to test, but I won't believe any of this until I see the likes of Tony Northrop get his hands on the camera and the camera shop, and they're the two main people I listen to. They all like the camera with the specs, but they haven't had a full go on it.
Now I like what Ken Wheeler calls all the people who do all the measurements. He calls them measure baiters.
Yeah, because as I said, no matter what they say, it's got to perform that. It does have the 20.3 megapixel for the still image, but that's still the same as my FZ1000.
Right, so they stopped short. They stopped short of a 24 megapixel APS-C type sensor. That would have been cool.
But that's what I would have thought that even if people don't need it, people like to see that. And even Tony Northrop was saying on his, and you'll like this, he said no matter what the camera, he said he loves his 50 DSR that you've got. He said he'll do another video to explain how he loves those 50 megabyte images. He said it just has a world of its own, which is really great for that. It's got the new OLED EFA electronic viewfinder with 2.6 million dots.
Okay, that's nice.
One thing that you was the same that you like with a lot of the better type cameras is, I don't know, did the GH4 have the twin memory card slots?
No, it didn't.
No, this one does. It has a twin memory card slots, and one thing it does do, which a lot of the others that still have the dual slots, most of the dual slot ones will allow you to do photos and then video on one.
Yes.
But this one will allow you to do both, so you can do 2 cards recording video at once, or relay play, so you can fill one up, go to the other way. And then all the other twin slot ones won't allow you to do video on both of them, which...
Are they still using the SDXC cards?
The new the standard ones. The U2 is it? That's the latest one?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the U2 on that one there. But it does also has the headphone jack and the mic jack. So
we had that on the GH4 too.
The headphone jack.
I had both.
One thing you'd like on this one as well, because I know you got the GH4 with the extra XLR connections.
No, I didn't. I wasn't going to spend $2,000 for that.
Oh, well, that's good because I know on the old one it had the big sort of the camera grip with the XLRs, which is so huge down the bottom. But this one has the XLR adapter that fits on the hot shoe.
Oh, okay.
And no connections either. It works directly through the hot shoe, so it's direct into the camera.
Nice.
So it's much neater. The box just looks a bit like the Rode. A cordless mic setup, about that size, but with the XLRs on it. So
that's great.
That's a really good thing for somebody who wants to do that. So, and then it's got the shoe on the top of it. So if you want to put your mic still back on another mic on the top of that, you can do that. So, but here's one that made me fall in love with it that I've been not complaining about takes it away from being a video camera, and this puts this one back into being a real true video camera for me. They've taken away the 29 minutes capability. So
I didn't have that. That was the stupidity they did for the EU. I figure screw the EU. I mean, they're idiots. Who cares? I mean, why?
Now they've taken it off, so we've all got it. So whereas we were always stuck with the 29 minutes, but now this is unlimited. Yeah. Well, unlimited to your battery and your storage capacity.
Oh, but the batteries on the GH4 last like 6 to 8 hours, and they're amazing. They'll last with the battery grip. You can shoot all day.
And the thing is, will you like on that as well? If you having the GH4, it's the same battery.
Nice, so you don't have That's a great battery. Yeah, that's the best battery I've ever worked with.
And a thing that I'm still thinking, I think, gee, that's really good, is the video. With most of the videos, when you stick it in 4K, it crops it onto the sensor. This has no crop.
No crop. Oh, nice. That's good.
Full 4K, exactly the same. So
they've been at work. They've been doing some nice stuff. You know, last night I was playing a little bit with the GH4. Actually, been playing with it for like the last week, and thinking to myself, there is still no camera I love better than the feel of this GH4. It is ergonomically the best camera I've ever held. And
that's why I'm a bit afraid that I'm going to get one of these, because the FZ1000 is the closest thing I know to a GH4, but the feel of it I love. But then I know how this new one will feel, and it's like going to the Canons as well in some respect. You know how it's going to operate. You know all the buttons.
They just run beautifully. And you know what, Geoff? I'm afraid you are going to get this one.
Yes, it's the sort of thing you say, I don't need it, I'm not going to get it, but you know I'm not going to be able to sleep until I've spent the money.
And in this case, GH5 will stand for Geoff has 5.
Yes, and this one says it's about 13. I keep getting different ones on different sites. One says 13% bigger than the GH4, and one says 14%.
Yeah, that's not much.
No, so and like me and you say, we don't mind if you do it a bit bigger if you've got a few different things on it. But also as well, it's got, like all the other cameras have the HDMI output on them, but it's the horrible little mini one that keeps falling out.
Right.
If you're going to an external monitor, but this one has the full size.
Oh, nice. Okay.
But it has a connection to lock it in as well.
That's
so
great.
You can't pull it out. So, and most people who want to go out from the camera, and also in previous cameras, I think if you went out from the HDMI to an external monitor, it cut off the little LCD display. Mm-hmm. But this one doesn't, so you can still see the LCD on the camera as well as your output. So it's got some really good features on that as well. And they were saying that still dust proof and splash proof and that with the sealed body. But one of the great things that they brought from some of the other lower ones is the 5-axis gimbal in-body stabilizer.
They did bring it in. They did. Yes. I wasn't sure if they were going to do that. Okay.
And so that really makes it, because like you were saying before, like the same, why don't all of them have that 5-axis in-body stabilization? But I'm reckoning that's going to be really good. They've changed the focus points. I think, I don't quite remember, but I think it had about 46
49,
points before.
I think, something like that.
And it's got about 225 now.
You know, that should help it, because one of the problems with the GH4, it wasn't bad at focusing, but it wasn't that good either, especially moving objects. It didn't track all that well. The depth by defocusing is really good in static situations, but when they weren't as good as Fuji. Fujifilm on like the X-T2 kicks butt on their tracking. It made the GH4 look primitive, and so did other cameras for that matter. The 7D Mark II on Canon tracked better than the GH4. Some of the Sonys tracked a little bit better, though Sony's had some issues with focus too. But if they can get their focus as good as the X-T2, it's a killer. It's a killer what they've done. So,
but that's what all the only things I've heard negative about it is people still a bit reserved about that focusing, as you said. Still's not a problem, but for video, and as you said, it really is important because it really is a video camera first. Yes. That's what.
But with these extra focus points, that should help a lot, because that's part of the problem. They didn't have enough focus points. They didn't have many of the. They were probably all cross type. Maybe these are all cross type, and as a result, you get just much better edge to edge coverage.
And what you can do,
And if they can do
what
good tracking and keep the tracking intelligently, like the XT2 from Fuji, then I think they've got a killer.
One of the things that they do have with the LCD does have a touch screen.
Yes.
Now it's touch screen on the back, but what they do have, you know how you do like you pull focus, you can set up a scene so you can point on one scene, set it and point on another, and you can time it so it will automatically switch it itself.
Oh, nice.
So you don't have to touch it. So if you've got something set up, and let's face it, a lot of people with the GH4, they don't just do little home videos, they're using them professionally.
Oh, sure.
And they're doing really good. So that's really sort of like a semi-professional feature. And as I said,
and you can also touch one point and just drag it to the next one, and you'll see the racking, the focus racking looks beautiful.
And I was listening to a lot of people, whereas before when anybody talked about video sets, oh no, you always do manual focus, always do manual focus.
That's BS, yeah.
But that's what I said, but it's moving away from that more. Even the professionals saying they're finding more, they get more things in focus with the machine doing it than somebody manually doing it.
That's true. It's really hard to manually focus some of these video rigs. And look at what you have to do to get it. You have to get this big rig with all the gears and make sure that it works well. Buy a camcorder at that point. I don't know. There's some good camcorders that you can replace the lenses and have the same effect.
And people these days are wanting different styles of video, so it's always this running shoot things on a gimbal, on a stabilizer thing that you can't see what you're doing. You just want it to just run with it and get the shot. So and most people aren't fortunate enough to have 2 or 3 people, one running with a camera, one running with it and focusing, and one directing it.
That's actually pretty exciting. That's going to be a good camera to have. I bet you they're going to have a lot of back orders. Now the Fuji X-T2, as good as it is, they did blow a couple of things. Well, one, they have some firmware issues that it locks up every so often. I've had at least 10 cases of it just locking up, and it's really irritating. But the other thing is, there's no touch screen, and it doesn't flip all the way out. It has that stupid kind of up and down. Who cares? I mean, give us a real flip screen. You can do everything. I don't believe this. You have to have it. Well, it's a professional camera, it shouldn't flip. That's BS. That's just an excuse for you didn't do it. So I'm looking forward to seeing the GH5. If it's anywhere as good as the GH4, it's going to be great. Oh, and by the way, one key point, when you get the Meta Bones adapter, the 0.64 adapter, now you're getting the picture quality of an APS-C sensor or better. It gets a lot more light. I mean, the image quality on those, when I look at them, I go, my God, did I take this with the 5DSR? Did it with an Nikon? It looks great. So it is amazing what you can do with those Meta Bones. So that adds even more. Now you get the different lenses, you get different looks.
So what would you, if you was going for that one, Rick, what would you go for, the 12 to 35 or the 12 to 60 millimeter?
I'd probably go the 12 to 35 because it's a little shorter it's a shorter zoom, because if I want something bigger, I'll get something bigger later. But the 12 to 35 gives you a nice, and remember that's crop, so you're going to get really it's going to be something like 20 to or 24 to 50. And that's a pretty good size. The other one is going to get you a little bit more like 24 to 75 maybe 24 to, which isn't bad either. I'm not that familiar with that other lens, but I heard it's good too. I have the 12 to 35, and it's a really nice lens. It's very light, and yet it's super fast, and it doesn't, I think the new one does not, I think mine doesn't telescope. I think it's just all internal. It's $1,000 lens, a $900-something lens. So they're not cheap, but they're pretty good. They're sharp. One of my favorite lenses on the Panasonic line is their 15 millimeter f1.7. That shoots nice. It's beautiful. It just really shoots nice pictures. And then my all-time favorite is the 42.5 millimeter Nocticron. That's a $1,500 lens. It is gorgeous. It shoots. It eats light for dinner, breakfast, whatever. It just eats light. You can take in dark areas just beautiful, sharp pictures. It's just so bright. It's an f1.2. F1.2 42.5, which in essence is about what is it, like a 70 millimeter or something like that? So it's a nice lens, or 80 millimeter, maybe it's like an 85. I don't think it's that big, but it just does a beautiful job. And then you put your Canon lenses on or Nikon lenses with the adapter. Now you're unlimited. You can do whatever you want. Though now you have to be careful because the Canon lenses aren't all very fast. You have to get the ones that are fast for video. And then now your GH4 can shoot with some beautiful looking lenses too. But even still, the lenses made for the GH4 are really quite nice. The Leica lenses, and the Panasonic Leica lenses, they're just beautiful.
Because that's what I'd get. I know I know a lot of others will fit, but I'm still of an opinion. I still like to have one lens of the manufacturer, because I think that they'll have one that will complement it perfectly, no matter what you do. And with you saying with your Metabones adapter, I'm not sure. I haven't heard whether it's exactly the same size, but I would assume it would.
It is. It takes the same lenses. It's still Micro Four Thirds. But it's going to be even better because now you have a bigger sensor. Remember, it's only 16 megapixels for the GH4. That 4 megapixels will add a whole lot more depth to the pictures. It's quite a bit more at 20. I have the GX8. Remember that one? And that one has a 20 megapixel sensor, and the picture quality is beautiful.
Yeah, I just love them. As I said, the FZ1000 is 20 megapixels, more than enough for a still. But I've always loved the video on that, so that's where it's attracting me a little bit more to that GH5.
Yep.
But I can see all the advantages to that. But it's the ergonomics, and as I said, with that flip-out screen that you can use, and also you can put it away. So when you're looking through the viewfinder, and as I said, they've improved the electronic viewfinder, and that's one thing you just can never get on a video camera.
No.
Is if you can't you can't look at the screen when you're outside because the sun's too much, but you can look through the viewfinder on them with your eye, and you can perfectly see it because you covered it all up. Because
that's true.
A lot of times those LCDs, you just can't see them in the outside, whereas Panasonic's are the best, I think, for outside viewing. But there are still, let's face it, both you and I live in places where the sun shines more often than it doesn't.
Yep.
And even when it doesn't, the grey clouds, the reflection of that just is too bright to see on it anyway.
Yep,
so,
that's true.
But still, I still can't. I still have not found one that does better than my little Panasonic. It's all HD video camera.
Yeah.
This one is the best shot I've ever had on a camera. I can go out in broad daylight with the sunbeam, and I can still see it. It's
that looks very similar to the other one, the what is it, 991 or whatever, WX something or other. I have that one. I like that one too. It's a lot of fun. It's a 1-inch sensor, a 1.25, I think, something like that. It's a lot of fun. It's a small little camera, but it shoots well. And here's one of my predictions. 2017 will bring back the camcorder. Don't ask why. I have no supporting information or facts for that, but I think it'll happen. Because people are going, it's a pain in the ass to really film with a DSLR. You get nice images, but the camcorders, some of them, especially with replaceable lenses, give you beautiful images. So it just really depends. And I think people are going to find that they're still convenient. Though it also may be the year of the camera, the cell phone camera. They're coming out with more innovative cameras on cell phones with double cameras that join the image together and give you all of a sudden big zoom capabilities. So there's going to be some interesting stuff coming out in 2017. That's my only prediction. I have no other ones, but
you're not far off though, because that's one of the things maybe Panasonic are ahead of the trend with that. The aiming this, it's a DSLR, but they're really aiming it as a
video camera. Yeah.
And as I said, because now if I get that, I can put it on a tripod with the power on and film continuously.
Oh, you could.
That was the big downside with the other one. Yeah. You can, as long as I've got memory capacity, I can film as long as I want on it.
That's
so
true.
It is a camcorder, but with all the advantages of a DSLR with the lenses. So I think they'll do very well with this one. I'm quite surprised that after they announced it when was it? Was it in NAB last year?
No, it was. They announced the GH5 at
Photokino in Germany, wasn't it?
Yeah, in Germany.
Yeah. but they never really announced much about it, did they? It was so vague, and nobody really had. So it was quite surprising when I saw all the features. And I've got Philip Bloom's site, all keyed up, ready to go, because he's got a load of things on that, and I want to see what he thinks about it, because I'm pretty sure he's got GH4s as well, and all these other ones. So be really interesting to see what everybody else says. But
it's going to be fun.
There's only about 5 people, I think, that's got the cameras out there that've got some footage, but even they're saying they've done it, but it's a release that Panasonic's giving them, so you can't guarantee anything until you see what the mass-produced one is going to be like. So
that's going to be great. Well, Geoff, we are at the end of our time. We're actually about a half hour over our time, but that's because we started late. But I'm
glad you did it, because I had to get that out about the GH5, or else it'd be old news next week.
That's true. That's true. So remember, folks, you heard it here second. Now, hey, Geoff, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, too.
2017, and they said it wouldn't happen. Almost didn't, but that's okay. Hey, have a good one. And for all you folks watching, we're going to have more guests this year, more fun interviews, and just fun stuff. There's a lot of stuff that's going to happen this year in the photo industry, in the video industry, cell phones. There's some good stuff happening in cell phones. If Samsung can get their act together, it'll be interesting.
They've released a new one though now, haven't they? The first one since that. So you can't say the N word don't say the N word when referring to Samsung.
That's right. Yeah, they have a new Note 8 that's going to be coming out soon, and there'll be 2 variants of it. There's going to be the 8, and then there's going to be an 6-inch screen. I'm going, ooh, nice, with a stylus. Sounds like a Note, doesn't it?
I thought they were not going to use the word Note anymore.
No. But it sounds like it. Yeah.
Yes.
It's notably bigger. Yeah. All right, Geoff. Hey, have a good one. I'll see you next week on Tech Down Over. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.